Hello everybody and welcome to my channel. I'm Mads and I don't know how, but it's the end of October. So that means it's time for the October reading wrap up and my tiny little November TBR. How is my favorite month already over? Like, excuse me, today is Halloween and I think this is one of the few rare chances I have to actually film a wrap up on the last day of the month, and I honestly find it very fun and satisfying, but I don't want it to be the last day of the month. Diving into my October reads, I really was afraid at the beginning of the month that we would have a repeat of last month where I only read 2 books, and I found that really tragic. So I worked hard to get these books done, and I did really well. I read 5 books this month. 5 whole books. Annotated one of them. 2 of them were like over 550 pages. Okay, first book I don't have with me because I read it on Kindle Unlimited when I still had a subscription. I read Final Offer by Lauren Asher. This one is the last book in the Dreamland Billionaire series following the last brother, Cal, as he has to go to his grandfather's old house where he used to spend every summer, and in his grandfather's will it states that he has to spend one last summer there. However, he doesn't realize that his ex-girlfriend is living in that house, and he has to figure out a way to not only stay there for the summer when she hates him, but also figure out a way to sell the house. So it was a roller coaster. I rated this book 4 stars, and I genuinely was not expecting that. I thought it would be like a 3.5 at most. I was looking forward to reading this book because I really did love Cal. My camera keeps moving. Because I really did love Cal in the previous books, and I was so glad to get a whole book about him. I just really liked it a lot more than I thought I would. I think the reason I didn't really love the first 2 books was because of, I don't know, Declan and Rowan are just Rowan, is that his name? The first 2 brothers were just a little bit too grumpy for me, and they're both, I don't know, I just didn't like it. I don't like it when they're too grumpy. Like, I like a good grumpy sunshine trope, but they just felt mean and very just like, I don't know how to explain it. I just didn't love them, and I felt like being with them would be very toxic. But I loved them in this book, and it was really weird. I was not expecting any of this to happen. I really loved Cal and Lana's relationship. I have never really read a second chance romance before because I've never really wanted to. I'm not a big second chance romance girly, but I really liked them. I just really liked how there was like a dynamic there, but also this like their dynamic now is a lot different than what it used to be because of what happened, and I don't really know. I think my favorite part of the book was the interactions between the 3 brothers and the 3 girls, like the group chat, the just interactions that they had with one another. I found it very cute and wholesome, and this isn't even like found family because they are just legitimately family, but I love a good family dynamic, and I just found it really fun. Also, this book, once again, as does Lauren Asher's other books, has the like more serious themes in it, along with Cal's mental health and addiction. He just like has to go through this whole journey in this book, and I really love his character development. Like, he really does change a lot from when we first get to know him in hints of the other books to the end of this book. There's just a lot. And also Cammy, Lana's kid, so cute. Like, that was a really cute kid. I have never really, I don't know if I've ever read a single mom or like single parent romance before, and I just thought it was kind of cute. And it's not going to be one I strive for, but I enjoyed what I had. Also loved the small town aspects of it. I feel like I had a lot to say about that, but that's kind of my dump of my thoughts of Final Offer. Next, I read and annotated Little Women by Lewis May Alcott. Look at how many tabs there are. Okay, I had so many tabs kind of just because I used basically an entire tab pack, like every color available I used. Yeah, so I used like all the ones in this pack, And so I just tabbed as much as I could, and I had a blast. And there's a couple of moments, chapters, where I was like, you know, it'd be really cute here, a little doodle, because I've seen people on Instagram who do like these really gorgeous drawings in their annotations, and I'm like, man, I wish that could be me, but instead I just drew like little rain clouds, and I drew a key in one of them, and other random things that I don't remember. So yeah, this is about these four sisters during the Civil War, and just their like cute little life. There really isn't much plot. It very much runs off characters and character vibes, but oh well, who cares, because they're amazing. I loved how each sister kind of like is her own person and kind of has her own life, talents, and just represents something. Like Jo has writing, Amy has art, Beth has music, and Meg started out like wanting to be an actress, but then she has motherhood. And I just think it's like really cute, and I just really love them. I rated this book a 4 stars, and I really enjoyed reading it. Yeah, it was a bit slow and it took me forever to read, but I think it mainly took me forever because I was annotating. Like, I take forever to annotate, and so that's why I don't do it often, because I would much rather like read a whole bunch of books than spend 1 month on one book making it look pretty. I love Laurie. Like, yeah, he's kind of a brat, but I love Laurie, guys. I don't know why. He just has my heart, and I just really love him. And I loved his and Jo's friendship, and I loved him and Amy's relationship. Though I do think that it would have been a lot better if their relationship was dived into a bit more. I think it could have been fleshed out. Because I think they do really like each other and they do love each other. But I think that with the way it plays out, it looks like she's second choice. And I think it could have been played out to where it doesn't look like she's second choice, but like show them falling in love a little bit more. And I think that would have been really fun and interesting. I will say, I think Jo's story should have ended a lot differently than it did. Because Jo had so much potential to just be this like feminist and like iconic character, woman character that doesn't get married in the end. Like, I think that would have shown a lot more to where like she doesn't need a man. And I guess it does show throughout the book she doesn't need a man. Like, it's like the last thing she gets. Like, she prioritizes other things. But I think that could have ended a bit differently. It felt like she only ended up with the professor because she was lonely, and I think it could have been played out differently. Okay, so that's my little opinion on Little Women. I think it's amazing, and now I want to rewatch the movie. Once again, 4 stars. Okay, the next 2 books are books that the amazing Penguin Teen sent me. The first one up is Nightbreaker by Coco Ma. I gotta say, I was a little bit worried in the beginning that I wouldn't like it. Like, I was worried. I was starting to get a little worried. And I don't remember why I was worried. I think maybe just the writing or how something was portrayed was like, oh my gosh, I may not like this. But by the end, I loved it. It was such a good book. It has so many aspects that I think a lot of people love, like this private school training elite soldiers or scholars, and these like monsters roaming the streets, this futuristic and like fantastical take on like our world today. And just like a lot of these things, and a competition, so many things that I think a lot of people would love and appreciate. So I think that this book has a lot of potential in the book world. But I really loved our main character, Ray. I loved getting to see the story through her eyes, because she's just such a complex character, I feel like, and she's so like snarky and just kind of fun. I loved her interactions with other characters because she was just always like calling them out or saying something that just had me dying, and I loved it so much. She's such a rebel too. Like, she basically does everything she's not supposed to, which gives me anxiety, but is also very fun to read about. So I'm not gonna complain. There is another second chance romance in this. This month, I went from like not having read a second chance romance to having read 2. And I find that very interesting. Her love interest is her ex-boyfriend. At first, I was like, ew, no, please don't. But then I saw the interactions between her and Kieran, and I was like, okay, I'm here for it, and I can't do anything about it. It's fine. So this book was just really good. I would understand if somebody didn't like the writing. There were like a lot of onomatopoeias in it, Like, just like a lot of like the clash, bang, and that I don't love, because I feel like where you put an onomatopoeia, there is a chance for a better description. Like, you can dive into the imagery a little bit more. So there's that. I think the ending did feel a bit rushed. I think that this book could have been drawn out, maybe flesh out some of these twists that are happening a bit more, because I really did enjoy the twists, and the ending was insane. Like, I was curled up on the couch screaming at this book. But I think it had a lot more potential and could have been a 5-star if it was just like drawn out, like made you feel it more, if that makes sense. But other than that, I really liked the monsters and the magical aspects, and I did call one twist right from the beginning though. I will say that. I'm just good at what I do. And this book, The City of New York, had this like darkness fall over it, and a whole bunch of people just went missing into this darkness. And now every night, everything shuts down, like all electronics and everything just shut off, and these monsters come out. And then we have our main girl, Ray, who wants to become a maverick who defends the city from these creatures. There's this competition to become one, and everything really just goes wrong. If that sounds interesting to you, please look into it. Thank you, Penguin Teen, for sending this book to me. I really enjoyed reading it. Next up, I have another copy from Penguin Teen, and that is Thin Air by Kelly M. Parker. This book had a lot of potential. It did not live up to the potential, and that breaks my heart. In this book, there are these 12 students from 6 different private boarding schools across the country, and they're all competing to win this scholarship with this like really prestigious nonprofit group. They not only get their pick of college and all 4 years paid for, but they kind of become a spokesperson for this company and get to do a lot of things, and it's just this really great opportunity. And our main character is currently broke and homeless and needs that college paid for. Everybody on this plane has like these major secrets, and so they enter this plane, and this competition gets started, and then people start dying and getting murdered. Things just keep happening. Secrets are being revealed. They can tell they're being like messed with, that somebody on the plane is like dangerous. And so there's some, level of turning against each other, teaming up, and a very fun time. I think that the mystery and the story was really good. Honestly, I devoured this book in like 2 days. Not only because it is like a fairly short book, it's about like 305 pages, but like I always wanted to know what was gonna happen next. There would be times where I'm like, okay, I'm really tired, I'm gonna go to bed, and then I'm like, no, I need to know what happens next, so I have to keep reading. And I love books like that. They bring me such joy. And I love a book where you just like can't stop thinking about it. The entire time I was trying to figure out who is doing this to them and like what is happening, and I figured it out within the last 100 pages. I did, I swear. My roommate can attest. I said it out loud, and then it got confirmed. I really like these guessing games with these books. I just really liked the fun, deadly aspect to it. I didn't love some of the characters. There's this like really weird love triangle happening here, and I feel like it's just like people are around you are dying. You have this big secret in the air that could like ruin a lot of things for you, and you're here kissing these 2 guys and being like, oh, feelings, like I wonder what he's doing. Like, no. Like, it just seems like the wrong place. Like, I get having a romance in these books. Like, I get having a romance, and I love having a romance. But the way they were carried out just felt very unserious. This is a very serious situation, and now she's worried about boys. And I'm like, I get it, but you have other priorities here. The writing felt very cheesy at times, and the way it was like describe things, and I was like, okay, but like I feel like high schoolers don't really act like that. And so it was just kind of like it felt like a movie cliche almost, if that makes sense. One more thing I didn't like about it, the main character was so quick to jump on people, like be like, this person did it, I know this person did it. She was so focused on like this one person being it that she didn't really allow any other consideration. And then when she did like think about somebody else, she was like bent on that person being it. Like she bounced between like 4 different people being the person doing all this. I didn't like it because I'm like, I get having your suspicions about people, and in this you have a right to be suspicious about everybody, but the way she was just like, it was this person, it was this person and no one else, it just irked me. This book was a 3-star read. I did enjoy the story. I think the writing just really wasn't for me. I think you'd like this book if you have read All Your Twisted Secrets by Diana Urban and One of Us is Lying by Karen M. McManus. If you enjoyed those two, I think you might enjoy this one a bit. Now, time for the last book. I read this book in less than a week, and it's like a big book too. I read Air of Fire by Sarah J. Maas. I wasn't expecting to love this one as I did. And in the beginning, I was like, okay, this will probably be a solid another 3.5-star read like the last one. And then things got going, and then I kind of ended up really enjoying it. And I was not expecting to. I was so not expecting to enjoy this book the way I did. I feel like it's hard to explain what happens in this book without spoiling the other two in the series, but the series just follows our main girl, Selena, and in this book, she has to go on a mission for the king, but she kind of has her own agenda behind it, and we learn a lot about her and her past. And I really like how Sarah J. Maas tells these stories from the perspective of these characters and still not reveal their true intentions. In the first book, we had no idea where Selena really came from other than the fact that she was an Endovir. And then we have another character who we get introduced to, and there's another big thing that they're doing. And even when you get told shots from their perspective, you don't really know what their intentions are or what they're doing. And I just find it really interesting and kind of impressive, not gonna lie. I really loved Rowan and Selena. I don't know if they're supposed to be romantic or not, because I know they're weirdly distantly related. So I don't know if they're supposed to be romantic or not, because that feels really weird and I don't really enjoy that. But I did really love their relationship, and romantic or not, their friendship was kind of iconic. And I loved how it built throughout the book, because in the beginning you have Selena and Rowan where he doesn't talk to her and he just brushes her off and he's really harsh with her. And then by the end, it's just their banter and their relationship and their friendship is just made me so happy. I just loved their little friendship and I am living for it. I don't care if they become romantic or not. I think they have potential. But again, I find it weird that they're kind of distantly related. That's my take on that. I enjoyed Dorian. He's really coming into himself and I love him for that. I didn't like his little romance happening here, but I was more okay with it by the end. I think it does have a lot of meaning and potential for him and his character. Kale sucks. He has a personality of bread. Not good bread, just bland bread. I do think his character is kind of complex, but he just doesn't interest me that much. I loved Adian. I want to give him a hug, I really do. And then we have an entirely new character introduced. I guess Adian, Rowan are new, but one character who kind of gets her own story focused basically entirely on her is Manon. And I have heard this name. I've heard her and Rowan. I've heard a lot about them, and now I finally get to know more about them, and I'm so excited. I was not expecting her to be the way that she is, not gonna lie. It kind of threw me off. I didn't know much about her going into it. From what I gathered, I wasn't really expecting her to be how she is. And honestly, that's kind of fun. It was a fun surprise. I loved getting to know her, and her character definitely has a lot of potential, and I can't wait to see her character come together with these other ones, I rated it 4 stars, and I know from all this gushing, you're probably oh, I thought it'd be a 5-star. No. And I don't know if I'm ever gonna give Sarah J. Maas a 5-star read, only because her writing, sometimes I just can't. And I'll be getting really into it, and then there'll be a line thrown into it. I'm just kind of okay, that's weird. And it really just pulls me out of the story, and I really hate that. And also, I think with Manon, I don't know, there was a lot of points where it's oh, she's heartless, she has no soul. And I'm okay, don't tell me that. Show me that she's dark and harsh and dangerous and doesn't care about any other living thing. And then I feel that would have made the ending of the book for her a lot better. I just didn't like it. Those are my 2 main issues with the book though, but I do think it was a really good story and I can't wait for the next one. Although I believe in the correct order I'm supposed to read The Assassin's Blade next, but I'm kind of sad because I also want to read Queen of Shadows after this book. But it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. I'll read The Assassin's Blade. Those are all the books that I read in October. Now for the fun part of my wrap-ups, I have a little haul. It's a tiny haul. This one's actually small. And I wasn't planning on getting any books, but then my job got some more books to buy, and I have a 30% discount. So I got Icebreaker by Hannah Grace. This one is a hockey romance with a figure skater and a hockey player. I don't know much about it, but I've heard really good things. My coworkers were talking about it and it just, I don't know. We're gonna try it out in winter time. Maybe January. So yeah, I got that one, broke my little book buying ban because I got 30% off. It was sitting right there and I had to. It was my treat for the month. So the books I'm gonna read in November, I have these 3 school books: Normal Life, Rehearsals for Living, and From Hashtag Black Lives Matter to Black Liberation. I've started all of these, whether in September or in October, and now we're finally scheduled to finish them all up in November, which I hate, but it is what it is. I really do like Rehearsals for Living, and I love their just like stories being told there and their writing. The other 2 I don't love as much. I just don't love the writing, and I will dive into that in my November wrap up. Now it's time for the fun books. Okay, I have 4 books to read in November that aren't school books. I'm starting off the month with Killer Instinct by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. Finally gonna continue this one. This book was gifted to me by my amazing roommate and the light of my life. So I'm so excited to read this one. I don't really know what the mystery is, but I imagine it's gonna be carried off of the last mystery, or maybe a whole new mystery is introduced. Don't know, but I'm very excited. I haven't started it yet, but I will be starting it tonight. So I'm so excited for this book, and I can't wait to see the found family develop even more. Next, okay, it's been on so many of my TBRs lately. In fact, both of these were on my October TBR, but it's fine. Okay, so I need to read One of Us Is Back by Karen M. McManus. It's gonna happen. I've talked a lot about this in my previous videos, so it's gonna happen, okay? This is a month that's gonna happen. And I zoom through Karen M. McManus's books anyways. I can do this, and it has to be in November because November is still considered fall. I'm gonna read it. And then it is with great pleasure that I'm saying on my November TBR is Iron Flame by Rebecca Yarros. It comes out next week. I'm probably gonna read Killer Instinct, finish that up even if it's like not in time, and then dive into Iron Flame right away. I want to finish whatever book I'm reading before I get into Iron Flame, just so I can like appreciate it fully. That one is a sequel to Fourth Wing, and I can't wait for it. I can't wait. I pre-ordered it so long ago, and the time is finally here. I just can't wait. And then hopefully after that I can get to If We Were Villains by ML Rio. I know the original plan was to annotate it. I'm not going to be doing that because I took so long annotating Little Women that I'm just kind of like, I don't really feel like it. I just kind of want to read it. Again, I've talked so much about this one that I don't really want to dive into it again because I feel like I'm being really repetitive in my videos about these 3 books. These 3. I talk about them a lot and I'm like, guys, I'm finally going to get to them this month, and then I never do. But it's going to happen, okay? These 3, gonna read. These 3, gonna finish. And then I'm gonna read Iron Flame, and I'm so excited. So yeah, that is my October wrap up. It's insane. Happy Halloween. Today I dressed as James Potter because it's James Potter Memorial Day and Lily Evans Memorial Day. Can't forget her, she's a queen. I hope you guys all have an amazing week and an amazing start to November. Please let me know how many books you read in October and the ones that were your favorites. Once again, please like, comment, subscribe below. One last thank you to Penguin Teen for sending me these 2 amazing books. I loved getting to read them. I will see you all next week for my next video. Bye!